Hi, everybody. Yay! Made it to the end of the course. Congratulations. Okay, so at the end of this class, at the end of this week, you'll be tasked with submitting on December the 8th at midnight your journal. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear on what that is. You're going to go back to your reflections. You're going to read through the comments, and you are going to attach the reflection with the comments to an additional 3-page, no less, discussion of the readings for that week. So it's not 3 pages in total for the whole assignment, it's 3 pages per week, right? And you need to demonstrate in those additional 3 pages that you have come to a deeper understanding of the readings in the context of the course. So what that will mean for many people is you may go back to the reflection and may refer back to the reflection and talk a bit about what you thought then versus what you think now. You might refer to other ideas in the course that you've encountered either through these videos or through your forums or through just thinking about it or through a whole bunch of different discussions or maybe even through some of the other readings. So you're going to be linking what you know now to other aspects of the course. You may want to talk about things in greater detail, or you may want to step back and broaden it out a little bit to think more about how some of these ideas relate to other things on a bigger picture. What you do is up to you. I can't control, and I don't want to control how you think. Rather, I want you to show me what you think of these readings now. And when I mark it, what I'm doing is I'm looking on a week-by-week basis at how your thought process has progressed, right? So are you a person who has thought a lot about this? Are you working to integrate other ideas? What are you doing? That sort of thing. Were you really confused in the beginning and now you're less confused? That sort of thing. Are you still confused, right? We're all going to have levels of confusion. They are to be expected, especially with some of the harder readings. And you know what? It's out of confusion intellectual thought comes. So part of being an academic or thinking intellectually is learning to be comfortable with confusion, understanding that this is part of the process. And sometimes if you think about it long enough, or if you find your way to another reading somewhere else in another course, it might actually clarify something that today you feel a little shaky about or a little confused about, right? So learning is lifelong. It just goes on and on and on and on and on, and that's what makes it fun, I think. Okay, so that's your journal. So I guess in terms of, and so for the forums this week, you'll notice that people are asking questions that are really designed to get you thinking about things in the greater context of the course, so across the broad picture, right? So were there things that you didn't get to say that you wanted to say over the last few weeks, that sort of thing that you can share with people now? I'm interested ultimately in, and you can include this in your last entry in your reflection if you wish, but you can also include this in your last entry in your journal. What are you taking away from the course, right? What is it that you're taking away? And how are you understanding Freud in general? Do you see Freud as being important in sociology and his work in psychoanalytic theory, for example? Is that important in understanding contemporary views of gender and sexuality, for example, right? Super big question. My opinion is that the legacy of Freud is everywhere. Our sexuality is locked into our body, and sexuality is thought of something as something that needs to be repressed and controlled for our civilization to work. It is something that shame develops around, and we know from the psychosexual stages of development that may or may not occur, but certainly it outlines the shaming process that we come to feel as people during our childhood over our bodies and over this idea of pleasure and desire, right? So, and that's something that Guattari and Deleuze expand upon, is this concept of desire. What is desire, right? Are we determined? Is our subjective self determined by our desire, what we desire, who we desire, how we desire it, when we desire it, et cetera, right? So we are desiring machines. What does that actually mean, and how does that relate to Freud? If you look around you outside in the world, and do you see the legacy of Freud in the places that you go, in the advertisements that you are subject to, in the movies that you go and see, in the fashion that you wear? What does it mean to present your physical self in such a way, say through fashion, that you are able to exhibit your to exhibit yourself as part of the sexual economy and create desire in other people but desire that can never be fulfilled, for example? How do we see love? Is love a form of desire? What do you think about that? What is love? I think of Romeo and Juliet, the classic story of unrequited love, the love that can never be fulfilled, the love that can never be satisfied, right? Is that love? Well, certainly from a psychotherapeutic perspective, that would be highly problematic, right? Love is something that you experience, that you give. It's not something that you experience back necessarily. That's not the only way that it's defined. So that's kind of an important theme for me, I think. And it's an important thing to kind of walk away with, is to think about the importance of psychoanalytic theory in relation to contemporary theoretical understandings of gender and sexuality, and how that plays out vis-a-vis the body and desire, and how psychoanalytic theory helps us collapse the binary, but at the same time reifies the binary. That might be something that you might want to think a little bit about. A second thing that I think this course really demonstrates is that on its most superficial level, the feminists can certainly make a lot of arguments against Freud. And they do, quite successfully. And if we were to just take things at its most sort of superficial level, we could easily just dismiss Freud and move on our way. However, I kind of believe that there's something else there. What we know from Jessica Benjamin, what we know, maybe even from Robert Bly, who's definitely not a feminist, but he kind of goes the same route, is the suggestion that perhaps there's something else there that might be worthy of discussion. You don't have to believe or agree with everything they say, but just ask yourself, is there something within these other perspectives that is worthy of a deeper think, right? What does that mean? And this ties into kind of the third question that I always come away with is, should sociologists really be concerned with the unconscious mind? Should we be concerned with that when we're assessing the human condition and trying to understand social relations? And if not, right, it's hard, it's unobservable, it's all these other things. And if not, why? And if so, sorry, I don't know how to turn the ringer off my phone. 317 Just a second. 0, so if we're not supposed to be concerned, or if we don't think sociologists, what we study is social relations, if we shouldn't be concerned with the unconscious mind, then what do we do with that? How do we know? How do we go about making clear and definable observations about people if we don't take their unconscious motivations, who they are inside them, their intrapersonal realm, but also their unconscious intrapersonal realm, if we don't take that into consideration? And if we do take it into consideration, how do we even do that, right? So an easy way out is to say, nope, we shouldn't be concerned at all with that, not our business, we don't know how to do that anyway, so let's leave it behind. And that's kind of a very practical solution, but certainly the thrust of post-structuralism is guiding us further and further towards some sort of inclusive examination of the unconscious mind within within greater sociological studies, because it's important to the establishment of identity, right? Identity is the social constructed part of who we recognize that we are. So I guess those would be the three big questions for me that I carry with me when I'm thinking about Freud and the relevance of Freud. I guess that's all I'm going to say. I want to thank everybody for being part of this course, and I want to thank the people who have stuck with it and really contributed some really great comments in the forums and have asked some great questions themselves. And I'm really, really looking forward to reading your journals, and I will read every word of them. I'm looking forward to that. And if you're ever around Atkinson 434 and you want to come say hi, please do. I'd love to put a face to your name. And I wish you the best of luck. And let me know, just send me an email if you have any other questions. And I guess that's all I'm going to say for now. So have a really, really great next week. Thanks so much. Bye.